Good morning and welcome to Mega News at 6 a.m. We begin this morning with major stories making headlines both locally and internationally. Moving on to the major headlines, stay with us.
DVLS seizes over 130 suspected cloned and duty-evading vehicles. In business, passport websites temporarily down. And on the international front, Tanzania Vice President resigns weeks after call for new constitution.
You can watch us on all our social media platforms at MBN360. We have the details of the stories and more. My name is Nadi Degugu. Details of the stories coming up shortly. Now to our first story. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, has seized more than 130 vehicles suspected to have been cloned or brought into Ghana around the world.
The DVLA Chief Executive Officer Julius Nikwe Kote said the authority had integrated clone detection machines known as OBD second scanners into its vehicle verification and registration processes. Mr. Kote announced this in a Facebook post on Tuesday, August 25, 2026. He said the scanners were designed to identify vehicles brought into the country through unapproved channels that unlawfully copied the vehicle identification numbers of legitimate vehicles awaiting registration. According to him, the technology would help address cases in which legitimate vehicle owners were wrongfully flagged in the DVLA system as having already registered their vehicles because their VINs had been fraudulently duplicated. The deployment of the scanners forms part of measures to strengthen the integrity and reliability of Ghana's National Vehicle Register, the DVLA CEO said. The authority said the technology provides a proactive security measure by detecting suspected vehicle clones during the verification and registration process rather than relying solely on problems being identified after registration. Since introducing the clone detection systems, the DVLA has intercepted and seized more than 130 vehicles suspected of being cloned or brought into the country without the required import duties being paid. The authority has also established a temporary arrangement with the customs divisions to allow affected vehicle owners to regularize their vehicles and settle outstanding import duty payments.
Moving on, the National Security Secretariat has raised concerns over the early recruitment and mobilization of groups that could be used for political violence ahead of Ghana's 2028 general election.
National Security Coordinator COP Osman Abdul Razak said that the security agency's early warning systems had already flagged signs of mobilization, making it necessary for preventive measures to begin well ahead of the election period. According to him, recruitment into groups that could be used for political violence typically begins months before elections, and waiting until political parties officially begin their campaigns could leave security agencies managing violence rather than preventing it. It is easier to prevent political violence before the main event, that is elections, by the time campaign rallies are underway in earnest. We are managing containment rather than genuine prevention, he said. He said security agencies must therefore move beyond a reactive approach and begin intelligence-led prevention long before the campaign period.
However, we must not mistake reduced visibility of these groups as complete eradication. A vigilante group is a vigilante group, regardless of its name, uniform, or publicity. We are very much aware that 1. Some groups are rebranding as internal security teams, volunteer task forces, or community security initiatives. 2. Others have dissolved into looser and less visible networks that are more complex to track. But if our ability to track people on social media is anything to go by, a word to a wise is enough. Again, mobilization has moved online on social media, encrypted chats, local disputes, private security arrangements, or other informal channels.
In other stories, security analyst Colonel Festus Abuaji, RTD, has accused political parties of using recruitment into Ghana security services as a political tool to accommodate their foot soldiers.
According to him, the politicization of recruitment is a consequence of Ghana's winner-takes-all political system, which creates pressure on political parties to find opportunities for supporters who have worked for them during elections. Col Abuaji made the comment at the National Policy Dialogue on Vigilantism organized by Election Watch Ghana at the Kofi Annan International Peacemaking Training Center in Accra on Tuesday, August 25, 2026. He said the issue formed part of the broader political economy of vigilantism and was linked to the structure of Ghana's political system. He said political parties had effectively captured the recruitment space within the security services, raising concerns about the impact on professionalism and neutrality of the country's security institutions.
But when you sit back and you watch how political parties are behaving, the two, from vigilantism, among other mechanisms, the security services have become the place where you now, feed your full soldiers into the services. That's what is happening. And I'm mentioning it here, I've said it elsewhere, that the last stage of that is now recruitment has become a ministerial portfolio. Well, I never remember in my short life in Ghana, any Minister of Defense or Minister of Interior, not even Chiefs of Defense Staff or IGPs, elaborating measures for recruitment. But today, as we speak, it is a ministerial portfolio. The question is why? Why? Because the political parties have captured that space that we call recruitment into security services. Why? Because they cannot satisfy their full soldiers. And if they don't feed them into the security services, then of course the full soldiers will be allowed to run riot. And then we'll end up with more problems.
You're still watching Mega News at 6 a.m. and on the business segment, the online passport application platform has been temporarily taken offline following technical challenges.
This has disrupted applications for customers seeking to access the service. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement issued on Tuesday, August 25, 2026, said applicants may currently be unable to access the passport application website, passport.mfa.government.gh. The ministry said its technical team is working with the National Signals Bureau to restore the platform as quickly as possible. However, the ministry has not disclosed the nature of the technical problem or indicated how long the disruption is expected to last. The outage comes at a time when Ghana is increasingly relying on digital platforms to streamline public services, making the availability and reliability of such systems critical to citizens and businesses. The ministry has apologized to customers for the inconvenience and assured the public that an update would be issued once the platform is restored. Applicants who are unable to access the portal are therefore being advised to wait further communications from the ministry rather than repeatedly attempting to submit applications while the technical issues persist.
On the international front, Tanzania's Vice President Emmanuel Nchimbi has announced his resignation for office and retirement from political and public service, just weeks after calling on Tanzanians to fight for a new constitution.
Nchimbi said on Tuesday that he had written to President Samia Suluhu Hassan informing her of his decision to relinquish the vice presidency, with his resignation taking effect on September 4th. He said the decision was based on his belief that President Suluhu wanted a change in the vice presidency. I am fully satisfied without a doubt that the Honorable President desires a change, so I have decided to fulfill my promise, Nchimbi said. He said he had promised President Suluhu in August 2025 that he would serve her and Tanzania to the best of my ability and with integrity, and would step aside if she decided another person should serve as vice president. Nchimbi's resignation comes about a week after local media reported growing pressure on him to leave office. The reports prompted the suspension of a local media outlet, according to the information available. His resignation comes just over a month after he made an unusually strong public appeal for constitutional reform. Speaking at the opening of the 15th General Meeting of the Tanzania Human Rights Defenders Coalition in Dar es Salaam on July 24, Nchimbi argued Tanzanians to campaign for a new constitution. If I were given the chance to tell Tanzanians just one thing, I would tell them, fight to get a new constitution, he said. He said a new constitution based on national consensus was necessary to strengthen human rights, good governance, and democracy. Fight to get a constitution that has the agreement of all stakeholders, a constitution with consensus in the nation, he said. Nchimbi argued that constitutional reform could provide a framework for addressing the various demands being raised by Tanzanians and different groups. When you listen to many of the demands from different people, you find they have lined up many things all at once. You must choose the single major thing that can carry everything in the country. It is the constitution, he said.
That's all for today at Mega News at 6 a.m. But before we go, let's take a recap of the major headlines.
DVLS seizes over 130 suspected cloned and duty-evading vehicles. In business, passport websites temporarily down. And on the international front, Tanzania Vice President resigns weeks after call for new constitution.
My name is Nadia Degogo. See you same time tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of our programs.